It was so funny when I got down to Bud's training, he's standing at the front door, and I said, oh God, what the hell did I put myself into? To me, he was evil, but evil in a good sense to keep me going. Bill Goins to me was like somebody who I needed in my life. In boot camp, when he says, I'm writing this out for you and don't make me regret it. And when he said that to me, it meant the world, because this is the first time I was granted a black man's approval. And from my environment that I came from, there were very strong women, but there weren't too many black men.
Hello, welcome to Veterans Voices, where we highlight many of our veterans' service, insights, and military experiences. And we're going to be kind of introducing a special segment this go round. And we are introducing this special segment because we have someone very, very special and a family member to the show here on the #1 veteran show of Veterans Voices. Here we introduce Mr. Herbert Williams, our correspondent Navy SEAL, and honestly, one of the greats to ever do it, right? When we're talking about being at such an upper echelon of talent, of drive, of service, Mr. Herbert Williams has done it all, seen it all, and going to continue to provide us with insight. And today we have a special segment that we're going to be able to provide insight to one of a very, very special Navy SEAL. So, Mr. Herbert Williams, how are you, sir?
I'm doing quite well, and thank you for asking. How you doing?
Oh, doing wonderful. Thank you.
right.
Thank you so much. Obviously, you have explained your story, put yourself and your service out there for many veterans and many service members to value, to hear your impact on your service to the U.S., right? But also the impact that you have made amongst the veteran community. And we always want to thank you for that, because here in Veterans Voices, this is where we celebrate testimonies. This is where we highlight those who have served, who may not be always to be able to tell their story. So we really thank you for that, first and foremost. But I know this one here is going to be very, very special because here we want to be able to speak about your counterpart, mentor, friend, right? Mr. William Goins, God rest the dead, that who recently passed away as one of the first, African-American Navy SEAL. And you actually served with him, correct?
Yes, I did. The way that I served with him, it's a long story. I'll make it real short. In Great Lakes, Illinois, he was there when I got there, and when I had decided after going to the library that I wanted to be one of the Navy's finest UDT SEAL, I had no idea what I was getting into, you know. But it looked fun. It was something that I always dreamed about when I was young. I used to watch Sea Hunt when I was yay high to a grasshopper. And I said, oh, I'm going to do this one day, you know.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it was going to happen. And I met Bill Goins in Great Lakes, Illinois. He was my trainer up there. And he was awesome because I was running when I met him, and he made me realize the importance of doing something and sticking with it. And he basically put his name on a line for me. And the last thing he said to me before I got into Bud's training was, I'm putting myself out for you. I don't do this, and you better pass. And when he said that to me, it was like the first man, because I was raised by my mother, strong little general, but I didn't have that male influx. And he made me sit there and listen to him. I said, if this brother's going to do this for me, you know what? it's time for me to stand up for myself, you know. And he was in training in boot camp. Great Lakes is cold during the wintertime. And
Tell me about it.
I found out during that little hell week up there.
Yeah.
And then it was so funny when I got down to Bud's training, he's standing at the front door. And I said, oh God, what the hell did I put myself into? And he was, to me, he was evil, but evil in the good sense to keep me going. You know, he was not evil towards me. He just expected me to do certain things and expected me to do it better than certain other people.
Yeah.
And when he found out I could swim, he pushed me to my limit. And my problem was running. I couldn't run with a dam, but after going through Hell Week with him and going through training with him, I became a person where, you know, put me on the road, we're gonna run, you know.
We're gonna put that feet to pavement.
Yeah, yeah. So he was very upstanding. If I had had a big brother or a father figure, that would have been that type of individual, you know. He, trust me, to look at him, he was evil. And there was a name that they gave him because of something that happened in Nam, and he called him the deer. Homeboy could run the whole platoon into the ground and still do push-ups, pull-ups, and all that other stuff right along with us and talk trash to us. He was a trash-talking son of a gun, but he got what he wanted out of me. And when I graduated, there was a medallion. I have a gold medallion that he gave me. And he said, I'm glad to know you. But he knew me, you know.
Yeah.
For what, 6 months? He was in my back pocket 24/7, talking trash, howling at me, telling me what I can't do and telling me what I better do. And as a black man in the Navy, being the first Navy SEAL, I believe it was 1962 or 1964 that he was commemorated through John F. Kennedy, and we are few and far between.
Yeah, definitely at that level of excellence, you know. And let me provide the people context. So, Mr. William Goins, he was the first Black Navy SEAL and pretty much in the modern SEAL team, right? UDT, right. And with that, he recently passed away. At the tender age of 88. You know, he was born in Laughlin, Ohio in 1936. Going through that, he found his way through going through so much racial segregation, but was still inspired to be able to again join the Navy. And when he joined the Navy, it was after watching what, Frogmen?
Yeah, it was Sea Hunt.
Sea Hunt. Gotcha. So with that, at that time, he enlisted in 1955, and when he enlisted, obviously during that time, becoming a Navy SEAL was just, it was an insurmountable feat that pretty much no one would even try to overcome, because we weren't, again, as African Americans, we weren't offered those positions. Right. That wasn't something that transpired, which again, a lot of times isn't highlighted throughout military service. Right. We don't necessarily talk about those things, but that was some of the aspects of our military service. And again, a lot of times we were only to be able to be bred cooks.
Cooks, librarians, stewards, stuff like that. You know, menial jobs. You know?
Yeah. And those important roles for Mr. Goins to be able to strive to become a Navy SEAL and have the opportunity to actually don and become a UDT Navy SEAL, and not to become, but become the first, and again, the first Black Navy SEAL. Again, that's amazing. He served 3 tours of Vietnam, became Master Chief Petty Officer, post-retirement, pretty much worked as a police chief, and recruited minorities, and really provided that leadership that we talk about, that a lot of times the veteran community and minority community and just communities in general are missing. You know, having someone to pull the next person up, hold them accountable, but not only hold them accountable, inspire gentlemen like Mr. Herbert Williams here, which has, again, have made strides and actually became a Navy SEAL himself.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. To look back on it was a lot of fun. Going through it, I was asking myself, why am I doing this? And then after I got through it, I understood why I did it. And it was like, there's a book that I read when I was, after I got out of training. It was called The Spook Who Sat by the Door. And that book told me exactly what I was going to go through. And I didn't realize it because with me to come in, I had to sign in the New York City police chief, let him know I was in the city, mainly because it was that time. It was in the times of strife, and for me to know demolition, kitchen demolition, they was like, yeah, you need to sign in, so we know where you're at. And that was all because of my grandmother, who felt that it was good to let the IBDM News, which was Amsterdam News, know that her grandson graduated through UDT SEAL. Everybody in the all the cops knocking at the door. How you doing, Mr. Williams? Are you here? I said, yeah, for this weekend. Okay, we're just making sure.
Wow.
So it was a lot of stuff going on, but for the most part, it helped to make me who I am now. I'll be 73 years of age tomorrow.
Woo.
And
Well, happy early birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Happy every birthday. I'm sure we'll be able to get to celebrate here.
Oh yeah, you know that. So because of him, it made me strive to do a lot of things that I wasn't supposed to do. My mother was doing it, but when I got through this as an air traffic controller, that was another step that I wasn't supposed to do. I did that for 23 years. So, it's like my mother always said, if you want it, go get it.
Yeah, yeah, and having that push in any capacity, right? Whether if it's mother, brother, uncle, cousin, always provides a little bit of provides you a little bit of more ounce of courage,
Right.
And
Right.
I think with gentlemen like Mr. Goins, he was able to provide you that boost of courage during the Navy SEALs, right? Providing a leadership. Do you think? How do you think that actually impacted you during your time period in going through training there?
Number one, he scared the hell out of me. But it made me strive to not let these people tell me what I can't do. And as soon as I found out that I could, they had problems. Not problems, but it was like, well, yeah, Chuck's doing this, And the situation where we were repelling, and everybody went over the wall, repelled. And I went over the wall saying, chocolate drop. And my instructor said, what the heck did you say, Chuck? I said, chocolate drop. I was dropping, So, I try to make fun out of a strong situation.
Yeah, just trying to make light of it.
Yeah. And I also, when we had there was in Rosie Road, there's a dam that was 75 feet deep. And what we had to do was dive down, grab a handful of sand or dirt, and bring it up. Now, what happens is, as you come up, that mud or that sand dissipates in your hand. And if you don't show it, you got to go back down. And when I went down and I saw Goins at the 70 foot point, and I looked at him and I waved at him, did like that, and he just sat there on the tank. He had a tank on. He sat there and looked at me. I went down and got the mud and started coming up, and it went out of my hands. And I looked at him, and he just sat there. So I went back down and finally got a good grip on it and came up. And so I had a little bit of mud in both hands. So they knew I went all the way, And he said, why did you stop? I said, because the sand disappeared. And I knew I had to go back down, and you wasn't going to help me. So he laughed at that point. He says, well, you know, you're doing the right thing. Keep pushing, you're doing good. And he just turned around, and every time he looked at me, bulging eyes, I was like, oh, I did something wrong. What the hell did I do wrong? But he was honest, and he was like my angel on that shoulder.
Having that going through the turmoil that you go through, and I say that because when we talk about turmoil, we talk about it in a fashion that you're going through buds training in the 70s, right?
Right.
So I don't think it really gets any tougher than that.
No.
Typically, right? So having that light of hope actually could always kind of light the way for you. And I guess seeing Mr. William Goins definitely provided that light for you. And I think that's amazing, you know. And these are the times where I think some of those stories we never want to, be untold, but not also untold. Not unheard from the future generation, because gentlemen like yourself, gentlemen like Mr. William Goins, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, Bill Goins to me was like somebody who I needed in my life, and I didn't even realize it until when he in boot camp, when he says I'm I'm writing this out for you, and don't make me regret it. And when he said that to me, it meant the world, because this is the first time I was granted a black man's approval. And from my environment that I came from, there were very strong women, but there weren't too many black men. I just had to prove to myself that I was worthy of what I was doing, and he made sure that I was proud of what I was doing. And I've never met anybody like him, and I was lucky enough to see him, and that's why I turn around to my younger black people and let them know that I fought for this. Now you got to enjoy it like you're supposed to. If it wasn't for Bill, um, I believe there's probably other black guys that came in. There was one other class behind me with one black guy. So, like I said before, it was 10 out of 1,000, and there was 5 on the East Coast and 5 on the West Coast, and we never met each other until we started going from coast to coast. And Bill was always there. If I needed to talk to somebody and I was feeling down, I could rest assured that he had an ear for me, you know.
It's having a sense of unity, brotherhood,
Yeah.
mentorship. Yeah, I think in today's society, it comes very seldomly. A lot of that is transposed over internet. And also underlined by missed expectations, and now a lot of that mentorship or not mentorship or leadership costs, because everyone wants to make a buck. But
Right.
a lot of times it was this honorable to be able to service the younger generation.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So like right even now, I like if I go somewhere and I fly, I don't walk through the airport anymore. I get in one of them chairs, get a guy $5 and be happy. But if it's a black guy, I say, what are you doing? He said, well, da 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 da. And I said, well, you know what? Go down to the government building. There's a board on the wall, has all the government jobs that you could possibly serve in. Go down there and check it out. If not, go in the Navy, be a Navy SEAL. So I still push it, but it's like this younger generation don't understand yet. By the time they understand, it's too late. So basically, I try to turn around and pull whoever I can, let them know, hey, you can do this if you want.
Yeah.
It's extra. And the thing I say is extra money, extra prestige. I didn't sleep down in the the regular compartment with the rest of the guys, because I had an office up in the officers' quarters. So I could sleep there.
and everybody's not getting able to sleep there. That's that Navy SEAL privilege, right?
That's it right there. So, I didn't abuse the system, but, like the officer said, this, you come up here, just go ahead and do what you got to do. Just don't be back and forth too much. And I said, okay. So some nights I'd sleep up there, and some nights I go down in the regular compartment. And it was funny to see the regular black Navy personnel on the ship looking at me like, so what did you do to get into this? I'm like, I passed the training. How'd you do that? Can you swim? No, I can't swim. Then don't ask me.
Oh man, that's amazing. So when you did go aboard the ship, at that time, was it still pretty I guess prejudiced in a way, or racial segregation amongst jobs, and also a division amongst it's always a division amongst I guess units or divisions or jobs, but were there division amongst a racial divide?
Yeah, it was a racial divide, but I didn't experience it because I was UDT SEAL.
Now, when you got that trident,
You got that trident on your chest, everybody just leaves you alone. They don't say nothing to you. I used to go up in the barber shop and just sit and talk to everybody.
Wow.
And they was like, how do you like it like this? Do you like doing this? I said, yeah, it's a lot of fun, And the first thing, can you swim? If you can't swim, I know you can run, but swimming is a thing,
Yeah.
And they were like, no, Chuck, we can't swim, da-da-da-da. Then learn. If you want extra money, extra prestige, you notice I don't do anything everybody else does. If you want that, work for it.
Yeah.
I can only point you in that direction.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's where, like we talk about all the time, right? Where that leadership comes into play. And I don't want you to downplay your, involvement where swimming, that was again, it's also the mental toughness that you had to go through.
Yeah.
The again, the tiresome nights, not being able to sleep, the complete breakdown of training mentally, right? Understanding just so many different things when going to Buzz. We can go down the list of the training that you were involved in, and actually still uphold today. Again, being in your 70s, I personally have seen him continuously getting up, exercising, and still going to the gym, running, and swimming still, okay? And still being involved in that, which is honorable to see, and most give up, right? So again, I think with Mr. Goins and with Buds and with the military, you wouldn't have that instillment. It would be, again, I'm not saying you wouldn't, but it'd be difficult, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, like when you see me running, I call it old man's jog. It's a little bit faster than a fast walk, a little bit slower than a jog, but I get it done.
You get it done. That's the key, right?
And when I first started doing this quarter mile, it took me 14 minutes. I'm down to 7.5 minutes now. So, it's like I beat my chest for myself.
Sure.
And I get a little wild every once in a while, which I should. And then tomorrow I'm going to get.
Isn't that the Navy way?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I thank you. I honor you. Again, honoring Mr. William Goins. And we thank you so much for being able to kind of give us a little light of kind of who he is, how he impacted you, and also, how he's going to, continue to be that little angel and moving forward.
All right.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
All right, money. Okay. And this right here is very important to us. It says the only bad day was yesterday. Every day that we're still putting our feet on the ground, we're moving ahead.
There we go. There we
Moving
go.
ahead.
And again, trust and believe. We couldn't be able to move ahead without you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Continue to tune in to other segments, other specials that, again, we're going to be able to highlight some of our phenomenal military service members. Again, keep tuning in to the #1 Veterans Voices and also the #1 Veterans Show here. Thank you so much. Please click like or subscribe, and we'll continue to move forward.